Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Tom Stewart here. I'm with Liz Trotter. Our guest today is Keidrian Kunkel. We're going to be talking about employee engagement. This is Smart Business Moves. Woo!
Wow, good job, Tom. You said that
Yeah.
so well, and you
Well,
got Kay's name correct. Like,
and with this new cadence here, the new format of the show, I mean, this is God, I feel like it's been forever since we've done one of these.
it really does feel like a long time. Yeah. All right. Who is the filthy bucket, Tom? Do you know who that is?
I don't think I do. No.
I don't either. Okay, filthy bucket.
Good
Let us
evening.
know
I
what
love
your
your
name is.
name, though. I love that. That's awesome.
Me too. I'm not forgetting that anytime soon. That's for sure. Give us your name, filthy bucket. We want to know. Inquiring minds.
So, for regular viewers of the show, you guys have met Kevin Kunkel a few times. He's been a guest of ours. And Kevin's a friend of mine. We go way back, done some consulting work together. Kevin has a brother named Cal, and Kevin and Cal and I were actually partners in the business a long time ago. Anyway, Kevin is really into the HR part of the business, as you guys know, and is a wealth of knowledge and a wonderful guest. And we reached out to him some weeks back and shared with him what we were doing this month. He says, "You know what? I've got a better resource than me." And it's like he offered up his daughter. So, okay, welcome to Smart Business Moves.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, guys.
Yeah, we're super excited. We love Kevin. So if you're better than Kevin, that's going to be an amazing win right there.
That's a big standard to live up to.
Really?
Yeah,
Like
the bar is pretty high.
Yeah, no joking there. I'm not sure how I arrived. All right.
Okay.
I wonder, do you think that Honore is do you own the Filthy Bucket LLC? I don't know, but I do love your name. I like it. It's pretty. I like a French name.
So Kay, just for the benefit of our guests, you want to share a little bit about yourself?
Oh, sure. So my name's Keidrian Kunkel. I'm an operations director with a nonprofit company called Eckerd. We're a nationwide program services, direct services contractor. And so what we do is provide workforce development services, foster care services, juvenile justice services, kind of across the country in 21 states. So that's what I do. I cover the state of Louisiana, specifically geared toward workforce development services. So that's what I do. I've been doing this work between workforce development and then adult education and some other training things for about 13 years. And it's really exciting. It's my passion. It's what I love to do. Came from South Carolina to Louisiana about a year and a half ago. We got a new contract here. And I don't know really how it happened, but I specialize in startups. So we got this new contract and they said, pack up your Jeep with your dog and head down to Louisiana because we got to get this thing rolling. So that's how I ended up here, but it's been great. And yeah, so that's really it. I've done a lot of different, like I said, different types of programs and worked with lots of different teams and different personalities and had to motivate people in a lot of different ways. So when my dad asked me to do this, I thought, well, I probably have a few things I could share.
So just what is workforce development? What does that involve?
Yeah, that's a great question. So nationwide, we have these things called American Job Centers. There's an American Job Center in every county, or if you live in Louisiana, every parish. We have parishes. We don't have counties. Anyway, in every parish or county across the country, right? And so what these job centers do is work with job seekers, right, and employers to try to connect everybody together. Okay.
You're kind of like Match.com on the employer-employee side.
Right. And so what you get, the folks that we work with, my program would be those folks on Match.com, like maybe their profile's not that great.
Oh.
And we got to try to help them out and give them a little plan and say, well, you're probably not going to get a date for like 3 months.
Yeah.
But if you do these things, we can probably get you there. So
Okay.
Send them,
Yeah,
send
but
them the glamour shots and
the whole
kind of,
thing.
yeah, okay,
Right.
I got
Right.
you.
Put a napkin on your lap when you eat, things like that.
Yeah.
Manners, So workforce development, the way I explained it just now, Tom, is very, very diluted, but kind of just for, broad overarching definition for the listeners today. That's what workforce development is. It's a federally funded program that connects job seekers and employers together. Some people need more comprehensive support than others, and we do the best we can to kind of link them up to their with their educational needs, supportive services, anything they need to get connected.
So you're more on the employee side of it, but within Eckerd, within your organization, and your Eckerd, if I'm not mistaken, is like a contractor that is hired by the Department of Labor
Correct.
to do this type of
Correct.
thing, right?
Correct.
There went. You
And I
can
have
hear
a
Tom's
barking
dog.
dog, I'm sorry.
Not my dog.
Not my cat. Molly.
Liz, why don't you ask a question? I'll be back in a second.
Okay. So one of the things that I was wondering as you're talking, like, why haven't I heard about this? What? It seems like a natural fit. Everybody needs employees. You're developing them. Wouldn't we all be looking to you to help us?
So Liz, that's $1 million question. I hear all the time, again, from working in South Carolina to, coming down to Louisiana. So many entities, so many companies, community organizations don't know about us, don't know that there's even a federally funded workforce development program. Okay? So we're the hidden gem.
Yeah.
I think that there is a lot of opportunity for us to expand just nationwide, to work and connect people. And what is the magic pill for that? I don't know. But you are correct. You're correct. We are the hidden gem.
Yeah.
And, obviously we're in a market now where all employers are looking for labor, and the house cleaning industry certainly is no different. I mean, that's the hot topic. We'll do a gratuitous plug here. What are you doing tomorrow afternoon, Liz?
I'm doing the hiring boot camp for ARCSI with Debbie Sardone and with Sean Day. So that's how big of a deal it is. We're all focusing in on hiring. And hey, Tom, can you pull up the website for the American Job Centers and maybe in South Carolina or one of your counties there? I'd love to be able to see it and what I should be looking at here. I would also love it, Kay. Oh, first, let me just talk to Honore real quick. Honore doesn't know how he got here to Smart Business Moves, Tom. He's in California. He owns WeDoLightsForYou.com and WavWC.com. And he's not sure how he found us. He just popped up. My guess is he was a member of Clean Business Today and he got an invite. Does that make sense?
Coming in from LinkedIn, he might have just been thumbing through, and we could have been one of a number of things. Not sure.
I'm gonna guess that you probably are interested in employee engagement, though, Honore. So no matter how you got here, I think it might be a lucky day for you.
So I guess I've always referred to it as the one-stop.
Correct.
Is that kind of the?
It's the same. The terms are synonymous, Tom. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, there is, Honore. There's one in every county in the United States. So there's one in your county, wherever you are.
Or parish.
Or parish.
Okay. Well, he's in California. They don't have parishes. So I wanted to know if they have one there in California.
Yeah.
So when we're looking for it, would we search for, it looks like we would search for Career One Stop, not America Job Centers.
What you would actually want to search for, and I wasn't sure how deep you guys want to get in the weeds on this, but I can talk about it all day. I would search for I'll say it 2 times so y'all can write it down. The Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act. That's Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act programs in my region or in my area, my state. and that should give you the information that you need kind of for your area and get you pointed in the right direction.
All right, I'm going to type this in for
You type
everybody.
Google, you just type workforce and INN, and the rest of it pops up. It's been Googled
Workforce,
more than once.
innovation, and opportunity.
Yeah. And that looks like, Tom, you're on the the DOL website or something like that.
Yeah.
We kind of give you an overview of the regulations and what WIOA is kind of all about. I explain it to people this way. I say I go all the way back to the CCC, Civilian Conservation Corps, way back. That was kind of the original federally funded workforce development program, right? We may not think of it that way. And from that time, it's kind of transcended onto JTPA, the Workforce Investment Act, and now here we are with the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act. And again, it does all those things and more that I described. But I think as it relates, to our listeners today, there are ways, and if you're not working with your local workforce development program, there are ways to get you connected with those job seekers. There's a platform that we all use, state database, that actually has a matching feature. So you as an employer, I know this isn't about employee engagement, but I'm just going to run.
We'll get there.
Yeah, we will.
As an employer, you can work with your local workforce development region and get your jobs posted, do a job order, okay? And then there's this key functionality that will flag resumes who have keywords from your job order, resumes of job seekers, and kind of automatically send those to you, so you get linked together, okay? And that's just one small nugget of all the possibilities. But again, It's free. It's part of the workforce development programming, and it's definitely a tool that's out there that I would strongly encourage you all to use if you're not. The LinkedIns of the world and Indeed and all that's wonderful, and you certainly are directly connected to job seekers, yes. Mm-hmm. But these are individuals who are coming into our job centers every day, or they're going online and using the SC Works website in South Carolina, or here in Louisiana, our higher website. It's all the same platforms called something different because they're looking for work.
So that takes us directly into employee engagement. In my mind, these are people that are actually engaged in looking for work. And one of the things that we want is people who want to work, not people who are feeling like they're forced to work or they don't want to work, that they're just doing it because. But it sounds like anyone that's in your program is actively searching for work and looking for how they can increase their skills, etc., to be an even better employee. Is that right? Is that what I'm hearing?
Absolutely. That's the whole point of our program. So yes, definitely. I think it's a no-brainer. We'll be happy to kind of share some more resources, or Kevin is another subject matter expert on this type of thing too. So,
well, we got you, so we don't even care about Kevin right now, right? We got Kay. Why do we need Kevin? All right. So tell us. Talk to us maybe a little bit about, I love this unique perspective that you're bringing here, Kay. Maybe you could talk to us a little bit about what employee engagement might mean to us in our businesses within this whatever I'm trying to say. What am I trying to say? Come on, Tom.
Well, in this hemisphere, in this world, this particular topic, you're coming at this from a unique perspective. Part of what you do, Kay, is basically help people who are wanting to find a job, develop the job skills, and to get themselves prepared in order to be long-term, gainfully employed. So, it's just like playing pitch and catch, right? And the better you throw, the more, times it's going to be caught. So, we're half the equation as employers. What do we need to know from employee engagement to match up with the work that you're doing to be the employers that the people that you're preparing need us to be?
Yeah. Right. Absolutely. Yeah. So lots of different things that we can talk about today, and did want to share, beyond just the individuals who we serve as participants in our program, but, individuals on my team kind of working for a nonprofit, doing workforce development, doing federally funded contracts. So we don't pay a lot. Just putting that out there, especially some of our entry level staff or administrative type staff. We don't pay a ton. Some of my staff, I have about 15 people on my staff right now. They only make $15, 14, $15 an hour. It's not a lot, but I don't have high
turnover. You get a job at Target making 24, right?
Correct. And so, but I also can't give them Christmas bonuses. I can't do a Christmas party. These are all things. So, and then I want to kind of start there because I think it's important. Being in the nonprofit world, oh yes, it's not the same as the house cleaning business, but the profit margin's not very high because, well, there is no profit. Right? So you got to really make do with what you have, and you have to get creative with employee engagement because I still have to keep my program staff. That's part of my contract, right? I can't run this deal, $5 million contract here, if I don't have the staff to do it. Okay.
Absolutely.
So what are some things that we do to keep our turnover low? That's kind of like meat and potatoes, like cut to the chase, right? Of what we're talking about. How do we attract them if we do turn new staff, if we do turn people over?
And I'm super excited about this even more because you can't pay people a lot.
Right.
So if you can't rely on pay, what are you going to rely on? That is amazing. Yes.
Right.
Teach to us, Kay. Teach us.
I'll do the best I can. I don't know. I would say kind of the very beginning is from a leadership standpoint. Do you know the mission of your company? What's your company's mission? What's your company's vision? That sounds very, very simplistic, but you'd be surprised. If you don't know your own company's mission and vision, and I'm talking about just a small encapsulated, boom, this is it, one sentence. This is who we are. This is what we're here to do. Don't expect your team to know.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that's kind of the biggest, or the seed you want to plant. Kind of start from there is what I would say. The other thing, stretching beyond that, you need to understand who you are as a leader. What type of leader are you? What's your leadership style? Again, it kind of sounds cliche. Yes, I'm going to tell you, if you haven't done one yet, you need to go take a leadership personality style assessment to really understand. I encourage you to do more than one, do 2 or 3, and kind of look at those results. Myers-Briggs, if you haven't, done that, I think that's a great tool. And go back. If you did it 5 or 10 years ago, that's great. But I guarantee your results are different today than they were 5 or 10 years ago. So because you've developed and you've changed. So you need to have all that. Get feedback from people. I like my leadership team here, who I work with, my direct reports, daily, talk to them. Hey, give me feedback. Give me some tough feedback.
Yeah.
Tell me what
the tougher the better, really.
Right, exactly. So that kind of helps me understand my style, and I need to adapt and adjust my style to my team. So the second part of that is, yes, knowing your style, but who are you working with? Because we know we have all different types of personalities of people that are on our teams, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so you have to know how your leadership style meshes with your team's personalities and their styles, right? So that you can drive your outcomes and figure out what motivates them. Okay. So circling back to leadership style, no matter what your leadership style is, whatever that little assessment tells you, you're like me, democratic leader. That's what it, I kind of always get back on that, or laissez-faire, because I do like to delegate and give people opportunities for buy-in. First and foremost, you need to figure out how you're going to be a servant leader to your team. That needs to be the forefront of your mind. For me personally, I have, as a contractor, I have a lot of different bosses. My local funder, and my boss at Eckerd, okay, and different partners I report, work with. The most important boss is my team. I work for them. They work for me.
Right.
We're nothing without each other. Okay. You're nothing without your team. And it's hard because a lot of times as leaders or managers, we say, well, you're getting a paycheck. So you better just, go clean that floor because I'm paying you to do it. So all this employee engagement stuff is, you're never going to meet your KPIs. You're never going to, get the profit margins you want and all of that stuff if you're not working for your team and motivating and pushing them from the back to get what you want. Period. The end. So,
all right. So you're kind of speaking a little bit opposite to what we would normally say. Normally, what we would say is don't push your people. Instead, lead them. Show them the direction and get them to want to follow you versus standing behind them and forcing them.
Well, you're leading, but you're leading from the back.
Okay. Yeah. Talk to us a little bit more about that.
Yeah. So you want to find out what motivates your team. Let them tell you. Because if I'm at the front and I'm telling you, well, and I'm just going to use some metaphors that I think are fitting for the house cleaning industry. I don't know,
Yeah.
Okay. I'm at the front and like, you better clean, you got to clean 10 houses a week, or, we're not going to meet this and and you're not going to get your Christmas bonus, all these things. They might, just because it motivates you, because you want to meet your KPIs, that doesn't mean it motivates them.
Oh, yeah.
And don't assume that what motivates them. There's lots of different things that motivate people. For us, in this industry, nonprofit, just helping people, knowing that you go home every day and you're able to help change somebody's life, that's a big motivator.
Of course.
I might not be able to pay you a ton, but you get to do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you know what? That's one of our motivators too.
Right.
And people in this industry, they like to help. They like to be of service. So that's also a motivator.
Absolutely. You made somebody's life easier because you came in and you cleaned their house for them. You helped them clean their house before they had a big party or whatever. You changed that for them. You made their day better. And so that's good. I think it's a good reminder of you are in the service industry and this is how you're impacting people. I did want to start going back to leading from the back and finding out what motivates your team. Ask them. Let them tell you. Okay. And once you kind of establish that, you can use those motivating factors to propel the ship forward. Okay. And different things that I do, and this is something more of a tangible example, is like a staff likes form. Okay. So when everybody comes on board, we have them fill out this little form, and it's like, what's your favorite candy? What's your favorite magazine? What's your favorite team? What's your favorite, whatever, color, whatever, you know what I mean? So you have this list of like 20 different things. And sometimes when you want to just tell somebody, give them a little thank you. Hey, it's a bag of M&Ms. I know it's your favorite candy. And I just want to tell you, thank you so much. Man, I can only pay you $14 an hour. But that little bit, that 75-cent bag of candy, that could really change somebody's position. Okay. You would be very surprised because you, as the leader, you took that extra step to recognize that person, to kind of push them along and say, thank you for doing a good job.
So Honore has a few different questions over here. Let's hit these up real quick. So the first thing he wants to know is, do you feel they would have qualified high-rise window cleaners in this type of platform? So the company that you work for, would they be able to match somebody for him, do you think?
Oh, probably. We serve all types of individuals. Absolutely. Yeah, definitely.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's kind of an easy question there. Yeah. I'm not exactly sure what we mean by prison style.
We were talking about leadership styles. I'm not sure if that's in Myers-Briggs or not, but
yeah, I'm
not sure either. No, I'm not sure.
I don't know if this was a joke, if it is a true style.
I presume it is, Liz.
I'm thinking it's a joke. I kind of like it. I just wish I understood it better.
Right.
But yay. And then he also wants to know, how can I speak and not type? I think that you can't hear. That would be like on Zoom, you can speak, but here unfortunately you can't. You have to leave a message. Yep. Or a typed missive. See, it was a joke. It was a joke. I knew it. All right. So, Keidrian, continue. Please talk to us about leading from the back a little bit more. What I'm hearing now is a little bit different. Leading from the back, you're talking more about leading from a place of understanding who's at the back, not pushing them, more about leading them, but from their position, not from your high and mighty position up here with your goals and your agenda. From theirs. They keeping in mind what they are interested in. Yeah,
absolutely. So,
and it sounds like a large part of this is establishing, a level of trust and showing that you care. There is a leadership style that, if it was ever, I guess there was a time 100 years ago where maybe it was effective, but like I'm the boss, I really don't care what you want. This is what you're going to do. But that really doesn't work at all in today's world. I would assume that we would all agree with that.
Absolutely.
And so, you're establishing trust and showing that you care. And if your favorite candy is M&M, or peanut covered M&Ms, which are pretty awesome, or the difference between what's your favorite cheese puff, the crispy or the baked.
Coffee all day long. Everybody knows that, Tom.
We'll have that argument another day. But
But you're also hearing, I hope everybody is recognizing that Kay is also hit on 2 of the top 3 things that you have to do, or 4 things: matter, meaning, measure, and autonomy. She's already hit on meaning. First thing she said right out of the gate: mission and vision, got to have a meaning. And the second thing is matter. Let them feel that they matter. And you know what? It doesn't sound like it, but M&Ms can do that. It's one piece of making people feel like they matter. So I'm already loving everything you're having to say.
Great. And like I said, so the M&M thing, that's kind of a tangible takeaway, right? So some intangible things that you can do to lead from the back, I would say, is again, that buy-in, like you said, making them feel like they matter. So we've got to clean, and again, I'm just pulling numbers out of the sky. We got to clean 20 houses this week. That's you and your, little cadre of folks. Like, you got to clean 20. We know it's a tough ask. They're big houses, but we got to get it done. Okay. So what we can do is we can brief the team and tell them, well, you got to get done. Here's your map. Here's all your supplies, and good luck. And I really don't want to hear any complaints on the back end. So bye. Or you can say, we have to clean 20 houses this week. When we had this, situation come up a couple months ago, we were in a rush. We didn't really strategize. We actually had to put off some houses to the following week. We had some upset customers, so on and so forth. Okay. I hope I'm coming up with a reasonable scenario here.
No, you're doing really well.
So what can we do to mitigate that? Y'all tell me. Yeah. That's what I say. So I'll give you an example here. We have summer youth employment program where we serve 300 in-school kids who are juniors or seniors in high school. We connect them with an employment opportunity for 8 weeks over the summer. Really great concept. Last year was Eckerd's first year here, and our funder had this really unrealistic vision of how this was going to go, and they just kind of said, go paint that wall red, essentially. And best of luck to you, and didn't give us a lot of resources, and ended up not being that great. And there's a lot of ownership in different sides from that. So this year the funder said, hey, we see that really we should have let you guys be at the helm more on this. Yeah. So I got my team together and I said, hey, we're going to do a SWOT analysis. And you may not need to get that far in the weeds with your team. We're going to do a SWOT analysis. We're going to talk about last summer, what went well, what didn't go well, what do we need to do differently, and who's going to be responsible for what when we come up with a project plan. And that's what we did. So those kinds of things. But I didn't write it. I typed it, right, using all the information they gave me. I didn't write any of that. That was all that. So guess that was all them. So now when we get to summer and we have to do the project plan, this is what y'all told me this was going to work. Yeah. And it's going to work because now they're invested.
Right.
They're invested. This is it. And you have to listen, because sometimes they tell me all kinds of things and I'm like, well, yeah, I guess I didn't think about that. Like, maybe this brand of cleaner really does suck. Yeah. And I've been hearing you, but I also, know the sales guy and I'm getting a good deal on it. So we're just going to, keep using that one. Well, that's fine. But again, if you got to listen to your team, right? Yeah. And so that's kind of an example I wanted to give them buy-in, have them tell you, you have to take that with, a grain of salt too, because you can't do everything your team wants, because sometimes they have an unrealistic vision, but just allowing them to be able to give you feedback, share their thoughts and ideas, and help them understand the why when we can't do things that this is why we have to use that cleaner for these houses, is because these people have allergies X, Y, and Z. They really are focused on, being environmentally friendly. So that's why we're going to use this cleaner. I know it's not as effective, but I want you to understand the why. So, do you have some other ideas? Have you heard of another cleaner that we could use that would fit the same mold?
Right.
And
go ahead.
Just to make sure that we're not missing an opportunity here, drill down a little bit as to why it's important to explain the why.
Why it's important to explain the why. If you don't understand the why of what you're doing, goes back to that intrinsic motivation. What's your motivation to either A, do the work, or B, do the work well?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So why do we have this rule? For me, it's, okay, why do we have that? That's a stupid policy. Why do we have that in our stupid local policy? Why can we only have whatever it is? Well, we have to do it because the federal regulations say this and and if we don't follow this, we could get sanctioned and we could lose our contract. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The bigger picture and helping understand how all the things that the staff does and the team does every single day fit into our why and fit into our mission.
If you're trying to affect someone's behavior, if you're trying to get them to modify their behavior, either do something that they weren't doing or stop doing something that they are doing, there's a lot of research out there. It's like if you can explain the why behind it, there's a higher probability, some cases a much higher probability, that they're going to give you the behavior that you're looking for.
Correct.
And I've seen studies, in a lot of cases, the why doesn't even have to be that awesome. It's not even, the why doesn't even have to be that compelling. It's just a why. Well, if left with nothing else, it's like, could you do this because it's really important to me? Could be the why.
Absolutely. The why, whatever the why is, just needs to be better than because I told you to do it. Because I told you to do it is going to get you C- results. Okay. But like Tom, you're saying, even if the why is because this is really, these are our top, customers that you're going to be working for this week. And it's really important, it could just, sometimes I cut straight to the chase with the team. Hey, it's really good for our image. It's going to make us look really good. If you follow through on this, it makes them happy, and also, kind of I put it, in the notes that I sent you guys too, the growth versus the goals mindset. So we have our KPIs and we have all of, those things that we're always striving for. How are we doing better than we did last year? So the growth piece of that as well, and kind of getting the team excited. Why do we want to do 20? We know we can only definitely do 18 really well, but we would like you to start doing 20. Well, why does that matter? What you see what I'm saying? So getting them to understand and getting them to have the buy-in into the
That's the word. That's the word right there, Kay. So they need understanding. When they understand what's happening, then I can connect with it. I can't connect with the job if I don't understand it. I don't get it. So it's not even a lot of times that people are disengaged. It's just that they're not engaged because they're confused. If you can give them something to hold on to, give them the understanding, then it's like, oh, okay, now I can do it. Now, periodically, you will get the person that says, oh, now that I understand why you're doing that, yeah, I'm not in. I'm not in for that. I'm not interested in that now that I know why. But that is rare. And even if that is the case, you're in a better position because those people were never working toward your vision, your values, your mission. So you're still in a better place.
Right. Absolutely. And so helping your team understand the why is critical. Here's the other piece of the why puzzle, understanding their why. Speaking of cleaning, the cleaning lady's coming through my office right now. So I apologize if you hear a vacuum in the background.
You like that sound.
No,
yeah.
She's just doing what she's told to do. Okay.
This is just the way we planned it. This is perfect.
Right. So, but understanding your team's why in each individual staff's why are you here? Okay. And it's not because you need because paycheck. We already know that. There's more pieces of the puzzle. Well, because I need to provide for my family. Well, who's your family? Oh, well, I've got a little boy and I got a little girl and, a husband and and, sometimes maybe my mom lives with me and, what's your why? Why are you here? we know you need a paycheck, but why do you need a paycheck? And so
Yeah.
understanding why and getting to know your people. So kind of that was the other piece of the puzzle with that is I've got 43 staff right now in my roll up, and it's like kind of hard sometimes, but it is really good for me. And I know the value of remembering that Sally, the career coach, her husband had surgery 3 weeks ago, and just shooting her a quick email like, hey, Sally, just thinking about you. And how's your husband? Or next time I see somebody, hey, I heard your, daughter got, she's going to be going to LSU. Like, how's everything going with that? Or your son's going to be graduating soon, or your granddaughter had a baby. All those things make people feel valued, make them feel, especially when you're way up here and you don't get to be in the weeds with folks every day. Oh man, like Kay remembered that, this happened and Kay's thinking about me. I had, even yesterday, somebody on my leadership team had to have a surgery, checking on her in the afternoon. Hey, just checking in. Do you need anything? Just a little, comment back, like, thank you so much for checking on me, Kay. Like, you didn't need to do that. Like, no one's ever done that before, but it makes people feel valued.
Yeah.
I can't pay you a lot, but I sure do care about you.
Okay.
So
is that something that comes natural, or are there any like techniques? I mean, with 43 people, it would seem like that would be kind of hard to kind of keep up with. Are there any tricks to?
I will say the part that's natural with that, Tom, and I'm not being smart, is just that I need to, when I came here, I had this brand new project. I had a funder who didn't want me here, but they had me here because they had to have somebody here, taking over a whole new operation. And I had to figure out how I was going to build relationships to get people to do what I needed them to do. And so that's just one piece of the puzzle. And so does it come natural? I guess in a sense of it just came natural to me. Like, I'm going to have to figure out a way to connect to all these people. I'm not from Louisiana. I don't know a thing about being Cajun or how to eat a crawfish or any of that stuff.
You've been down there a year and you haven't figured that out yet?
I know now, but
okay.
the first couple months I didn't know. I was learning.
Okay.
I couldn't
Fair
understand
enough.
the thing anybody was saying. It was a mess. No, I'm kidding. But you see so just building those relationships, and if you build those relationships and you have that strong foundation, now you know what's important to me. I'm a servant leader to you. I work for you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now you're going to do the things that I want you to do.
And this all gets back to the trust thing and the caring thing, right?
Correct. Absolutely. You have to show it. It's genuine for me, right? Mm-hmm. Some of these, folks, you're going to have, you do your leadership assessment, and you might want to be that kind of autocratic, dictator, and that might work for you. It might be who you are, but you need to find a way to pretend to be servant leader somehow, some way. Okay. Or weave some things in to show your team that you care, because if you don't, especially, in this industry where I'm going to kind of go on a limb here and say, especially for entry level positions, you're probably not paying a super high wage, right?
No.
Okay.
Decent,
but not,
but not the best. Yeah. It's not like they're getting the best.
It's not like an entry level job at Target.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. What else do you want to know about?
Well, I'm actually pulling up something real quick here. So one of the things I would like to talk about is so you're talking about a lot of the things that we talk about often, right? Mm-hmm. And anytime we're talking about employee engagement, we talk about all of these things. But for some people, it's less natural than others. Mm-hmm. For some people, they just automatically understand that if you tell people why, that they will want to do the thing more than if you don't tell them why. Right. For some people, it seems more natural to just tell people, just do it because I said so. And that they feel like that will get people to do it better than if I tell them why. So one of the things that we're doing is we're putting on a program called the Employee Lifecycle Program, where we walk through 15 different stages of the employee lifecycle. Mm-hmm. And we talk about how to bring matter, meaning, measure, and autonomy into all of those portions of the employee life cycle. And you're talking a lot about meaning and matter, bringing meaning into the job and showing them how it's for a bigger purpose than just cleaning some toilets, right?
Right.
And then also that they individually, personally matter to the company.
Right.
And also that they have a voice, the autonomy piece. So I've
Right.
heard you talk about all three of these pieces. I wonder if you can talk a little bit to how maybe we might bring some of those in the different areas that of the employee life cycle. For example, how can we do that when we're talking about pay structure? Like, so we have to pay our people, obviously, and we want to pay them. We want to pay them well. Now, we don't need to pay them top dollar. So we've talked a couple of times about pay structure, but how can we bring within the pay structure, how can we show them that there's a bigger meaning, that they matter, that they have a voice in the pay structure? Any ideas on that, Kay?
I mean, definitely employee incentives, if you're able to do it. That's something I wish that I could do. Just being a nonprofit, that's not really something that's available to us, but certainly employee incentives. If you're able to afford to do that, and I would develop some kind of standardized structure. But that would be, I think if you have identified that money is truly what motivates your team, and you've kind of verified through a trial that yes, I've paid you more and now you're doing better, because studies have shown when you pay people more, they don't always do better. So I say all that to say, if that's the direction you want to go, certainly an employee incentive plan, and whatever that structure would look like. Maybe it's you get it could be small. It doesn't have to be anything huge, but maybe, hey, if we do get through, these 20 houses, and I know it's crunch time, I know you got a lot going on with your family and everything, but if you could really help me get this done, we'll be able to give you $100 extra at the end of the week, or $50 gift card or something. It doesn't have to be this huge.
Well, and actually it shouldn't be.
Right.
And everybody over here, I have to preach on Drive, right? So read Daniel Pink's book, Drive, because money as a bonus, etc., it's not a motivator. Exactly what you've been saying all along, Kay, right? Doesn't motivate people. It's a motivator for some people, but it's a very small portion of the overall population of the people that are actually working. Now, there is a little twist going on right now, and I'm wondering if you'll agree with us here. Mm-hmm. We are thinking that right now there's a little twist in that while people are not necessarily motivated by money, there's too much research about this. We know that people are not, the majority of people are not motivated by money,
right?
Especially not employees. Business owners, yes, but not so much the employees, right? But there's a new twist going on right now in that the majority of people out there believe that the minimum wage either is or should be at least $15 an hour. Mm-hmm. So if you're not paying at least $15 an hour, you might be getting some pushback about pay, mm-hmm. even though people aren't necessarily motivated by money. It's not that they're being motivated by that money. It's that they feel that that's the baseline of respect and trust.
Right.
Would you agree with
feel
that?
like they're being cheated out of an opportunity? Yeah. Honestly, again, and not to be repetitive, but if you're talking about your incumbent staff, and then okay, well, I heard that minimum wage is $15 an hour. I can go over to Chick-fil-A and make $15 an hour, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
Help them understand why that's what you pay and what the growth opportunities are for them as an individual. We might be paying you $14.25 right now. Here's why. Because we have 100 of you. This is our, our staffing, whatever it is, this is, and be honest with them. And then in order to keep the company running, we have to have all the other revenue rolled up, right?
Yeah.
We're paying you $14.25 an hour, but we value you. You're crushing it. You're doing a great job. And if you continue on this pathway, 90, 120 days, or during, your yearly performance evaluation, we can look at maybe bumping you up 50 cents, 75 cents, and $1 to get you beyond that threshold. Or here's some different growth opportunities for you. Maybe you can move up to, a management position or different type of role. And so again, I think it is really just understanding getting them to understand the why, and again, pushing back the ownership to them of just because you make $14.25 today, you don't have to make $14.25 forever. And I want you to work here. So what can we do to get you to the next?
There you go. That's the trick right there. Going back to the leadership from the back of asking questions.
Right.
Right. So ask them, what can we do here? What can you be doing that I can pay you more money?
Right.
I see you as valuable.
Right. And you're so talented at this. That's another thing. Like, that's, if you're in the house cleaning business and you're doing that, I mean, that's kind of a niche thing for you.
Yeah.
It's probably not, my dad could tell you, it's probably not something that anybody will really want to pay me to do. It's something a certain subset of the population is really good at. So you're here, you agree to take this job for $14.25 an hour. And what can we do? We value you. What are we going to do to get you to the next level?
Yeah, I love that. I do want to say real quickly, because sometimes this gets messed up just a little bit, that don't tell people that they're doing a great job if they're not. So I know that it goes without saying that you have to be honest, but we're saying it.
Yes. I wanted to have two things, if you don't mind, related to that. So since you brought up accountability, yes, don't tell people they're doing great if they're not. All this stuff, and I haven't even gotten to my list of, things you can do to keep the team engaged and that kind of, but don't do all that if they're not performing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
If they're not performing, you need to learn how to be a better, halftime coach. Come in, well, we need to move in this direction now. And then if we make it to the Super Bowl and win the game, then we can talk about having a party and I'll pat you on the back and I'll give you a raise. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I say all that to say accountability. And also, this is something that is common with new leaders and old leaders alike. Okay. Sometimes we don't like to hold the team accountable. Sometimes you may have somebody, maybe, you keep getting complaints about Sally not doing a good job, or she always forgets to put the mop up when she's done, whatever the case may be. Okay. Nobody likes working with her, but she's got a really strong personality and you're kind of intimidated to talk to her. Well, you need to figure out how to get over all that. And I'm being very, blunt when I say it, because I see it a lot, even, with my leadership team. Sometimes it's like, okay, well, you need to tell her that she's not doing a good job. And what you need to tell her what she needs to do a good job. And then she needs to tell you how she's going to make that happen. Because if you don't, the rest of your team's going to lose motivation. Well, if she's not doing a good job, no one's holding her accountable. Why should I?
And she won't be happy in her job either.
Correct.
We can't forget that people are not stupid.
Right.
They know if they're not doing a good job.
Right.
If you say, hey, you're doing a great job, and they know they're not, you lost all credibility. They don't trust you anymore because you lie.
So all of this kind of ties together. I mean, the whole pay thing, and we'd love to pay you more if we can find ways for you to contribute more. And if you're contributing more, you're creating more value for us and for yourself too. And you feel better about the job and you're more engaged. It's like a virtuous circle. I was a little slow getting to this, but I did share a link to a book, which I think means a whole lot today in a world where everybody expects to be making $15 or more an hour. Mm-hmm. And the whole premise of this book is you can pay more as an employer if you create opportunities for your workforce to contribute at a higher level.
Correct.
So, we do need to be mindful of what's happening with wage inflation. Mm-hmm. And part of that is making sure that you're charging enough. But the other part of that is creating opportunities for people to contribute in larger ways. And if you're interested, I dropped the link in chat. And if you're wrestling with these problems in your business, it's
I think that's great, and that gives your team even further buy-in of what are some thoughts you have on how we can expand. What can we do? I tell the team that here, the more contracts we get, the more business we get in Louisiana and across the country, the more opportunities each of us have as an individual.
And that hits on two things. One is when you ask people that question, they feel like they matter. They matter to you. What they have to say matters, that they are important in your organization. That's engaging. Right. Well, that's why matter is so important. Also, you're putting a measure on there. This is how we are gauging whether or not we're successful. So throwing that measure in there really, really matters as well. Having people be able to see with their own eyes, not being told from the outside in that they're doing a good job. The whole idea of intrinsic motivation is that it's coming from inside me.
Correct.
Not from you. It's coming from me.
Right.
So
some people are intrinsically motivated by recognition, right? So then you have to kind of play off that. And so this is the last thing I wanted, unless you have other questions, but just recognition. And this doesn't have to cost you a penny. Okay. Recognizing staff, and this is not trademarked or anything like that. So feel free to take it, steal it if you want. I do something called a ripple effect award. And that comes from somebody on the leadership team. And we try to do one sporadically. So it's not like everybody's guaranteed to get one every month or whatever, but it's a ripple effect award is that you did something, Liz, you identified this new cleaning product that is like way more efficient than this other one that we were using, way more cost effective. Like, thank you, and it had a ripple effect across the organization. You helped identify a new neighborhood that we need to, kind of penetrate, those types of things. And so whatever that may be, I think that's important for leadership to recognize staff and to recognize staff in front of others. Another thing that I really believe in is peer-to-peer recognition. And so again, that buy-in, that ownership, what's happened. I don't know everything that happens on the ground level every day, that, how staff helps each other, how maybe you have one unit out cleaning houses and they helped another and then you don't even know what happened. You don't even know what happened, right? They just made it work to get the job done. So I have this thing, we call it the STAR Award. And it's literally this thing I bought from TJ Maxx. It's like this little 3-dimensional star thing. And they pass it from every other week. They pass it to each other. And they tell the whole team, I'm passing the star to Sally this week because Sally helped me with X, Y, and Z out in the field. She really does a great job. And then it helps us to see as leaders, again, things that are happening in the weeds that we lose sight of all the time. Now, wow, maybe Sally has some potential I didn't know about.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to share that because those things really don't, it cost me $12 to buy that stupid little star. And people, everybody wants to know who gets the star. They clap. It's like an exciting thing. And everybody's kind of, even me sometimes, you're kind of on the edge of your seat, like, who's going to get it this time?
So if I have the star for this 2-week period, is everybody else in the organization trying to impress me on how awesome they are? So I give them the star?
I don't think so, because I've seen the star go across parishes, so I think it's just, it's, we're in an 8-parish region and I've seen the star go from all the way one part of the region to the other. And I think, and it may
there's no lobbying.
Well,
it's like,
I'll tell you that there is a little bit of that. We do something that's the same exact idea.
Yeah.
And it's not that way though. This is the compound effect. One of the things that does happen is people notice when people are doing things that are star worthy. I'm using your terminology, right? So we also have stars because we have stars and stripes in our company, American made. Mm-hmm. So just coincidentally that we both have stars, right? Yeah. But we also have that, and people do say things. They do point out, was like, wow, that's like star stuff right there, and so they start talking about what's great. They start noticing it, pointing it out, seeing it in other people. And again, that's engaging.
Right.
So I do want to put a link in here real quick for anybody that is hearing these ideas, thinking, yeah, these are really great ideas. I love all of this, but I just don't know how to tie it into my company and how to make it happen. I'm going to put a link for the employee lifecycle workshop, because that's what we're going to be doing. We're just going to show you how to bring everything that we're talking about today and about 300 more ideas into the employee lifecycle, into every piece of your employee lifecycle, up to at least a 3-year period. All right. And then Tom is going to show us
This is what you're doing tomorrow, right?
Yes. Yep. We have, looks like it is from 1 to 5 Eastern. It is, my time zone is Pacific, so it's 10 to 2 Pacific, depending on where you're at. And we're going to, can you go down and just show a few real quick here, Tom? Maybe, there we go. This is, we're going to be talking, Debbie's going to be talking about, what's that first thing that she says there? I think it's finding like how to find the top people out there and get them into your organization. Sean is going to be talking about how he hired over 100 employees last year just in his company. He's hired thousands last year for other companies as well, but in his company, just over 100. And then I'm going to be talking about using DISC, which is one of the tools that Kay was just talking about, right? One of the different assessment tools that you can use for recruiting, interviewing, hiring, and onboarding. So we're going to be hitting this employee issue from a lot of different angles so that everyone will be able to take away something that will work for you. We also have a code. If you're an ARCSI member, you can register for free. Tom's putting that link in there for you.
Promo code is Bootcamp 49.
Well, if you're not a member and you put in Bootcamp 49, you will get $49 off or $50 off, and you'll only pay $49 because the price for the bootcamp is $99.
If I'm a member, how do I get it for free?
You just register and you put in your membership.
It's automatic.
And you'll get it for free. Yeah. And then one other last thing about the hiring bootcamp. This is part 1. Part 2 will happen on May 12th. And that will be, again, another 4 hours. And it will be all about retention. And during retention, we will be talking a lot about some of these things that we're talking about again today, right? Because these are tried and true. This is tried and true fundamental ideas of how to engage and retain employees. It is not about some trick. It's not about you have to buy a star and that's not it. You don't have to go out and buy a star. You don't have to pass it around. It's the fundamental ideas of what makes people feel engaged, matter, that they feel like they matter, that there's meaning in the work that they do, that there's some type of a measure that they can see how well that they're doing and that they can bring their best selves, that there's some autonomy. They get to bring themselves to the job. It's not just about doing your thing your way. Last ideas here.
Is this the event that you were talking about that happens in April? So
yeah, the employee life cycle.
And this is a how many day event?
It's 3 days. It's like 2.5 days, the 21st through the 23rd of April in Charleston at your place, Tom, at Castle Keepers.
Wow.
It's going to be fun.
That's worth the trip just right there, right?
Yeah. The thing that I did want to say about the ELC workshop is that it is especially for the people that think, I'm not wired that way. I just don't know how to do that. I don't know how to make people feel important or to pass on the vision. I don't get it. It's not natural for me. Then you need to be at this workshop because that's what we're going to be doing is we're going to show you how to make it happen in your company. You don't have to be a natural. You can lead regardless.
I'll be there.
I know. Me too. Yay. All right. Kay, we have last things. Can we just get one last thought from Kay? I love everything you had to say today, Kay. I can't believe we've never had you on before. Hopefully we can entice you to come back again.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
Absolutely.
We'll get you and your dad both on, and I'll just sit back and drink coffee, and I won't have to do anything.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah. Any last final words? One thing. What should they do? Getting off today. They're going back to work tomorrow. What's one thing they can do tomorrow? Okay.
Find out what motivates their team.
Find out. You guys ask, right? Don't assume. Ask what motivates your people.
Make it an action item for yourself to find out.
Perfect. And I believe the code for C is Bootcamp 49. It might also be, I thought somebody else said it was Bootcamp 22. Oh, that's all right. Check either one of those, but I'm pretty sure Bootcamp 49 will get you there, C.
Okay.
All right.
Well, we're done for the week. We'll be back next Wednesday, 5 o'clock Eastern.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks again.
Thanks
Yeah.
for
Thanks so
having
much.
me.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.